Hello and welcome to Annie's Short Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Shadow of Chale Green. Holly Arnold arrived on the Isle of Wight under skies heavy with storm-laden clouds, stepping off the creaking ferry into a village that seemed suspended in a time where secrets and sorrow danced in every shadow. The narrow, winding lanes of Chale Green wound through ancient stone cottages, their windows like watchful eyes guarding mysteries best left undisturbed. A chill, as persistent as a whispered promise of doom, clung to the air, a prelude to the horror that was to come. From the moment Holly set foot on the cobblestones, she could sense that something was amiss. Locals spoke in memories of a centuries-old curse, a bitter legacy cast by a spent soul whose malice had seeped into the very foundations of the village. The curse, they said, had been born in blood and betrayal, a ritual enacted in secret beneath the gnarled boughs of an ancient oak long since surrendered to decay. Its presence was not merely a tale for quiet fireside conversations, but a living, breathing terror that stalked the edges of every dream and every waking moment. Late one rain-soaked night, as Holly huddled in her rented room on a creaking upper floor of a once grand manor, she first glimpsed the anomaly, a shifting silhouette that slithered along the walls in the periphery of her vision. One moment, it was a fleeting distortion in the flickering lamplight; the next, it manifested as a dark, formless entity that seemed to pulse with an unholy life of its own. The presence was insidious, a harbinger of the curse that had haunted Chale Green for generations, and it followed her relentlessly, its every movement a silent testament to an ancient wrong that demanded retribution. Haunted by nightmares and plagued by inexplicable shadows, Holly began to delve into the village's lore. She visited the musty archives in the local library, poring over brittle manuscripts and faded records that recounted the tragic tale of a forbidden love and a betrayal so profound that the victim's curse had been etched into the very fabric of the village. One tattered diary, its pages yellowed with the passage of time, detailed an ominous ritual, a last desperate incantation meant to bind a spirit to mortal kin, ensuring that the guilt and sorrow of the past would never rest. The words, cryptic and foreboding, seemed to echo in the silence of the room, mingling with the sound of rain lashing against ancient window panes. In hushed conversations at the local inn, villagers recounted eerie happenings, livestock disappearing without a trace, unexplainable phenomena in the churchyard at midnight, and, most chilling of all, sightings of a dark figure drifting silently through the fog. They spoke of a curse that was not confined to legends, but lived in the blood of the land, its origins as murky as the depths of the surrounding sea. Holly's own encounters began to mirror these accounts. On a particularly moonless evening, as she walked the winding path past the old graveyard, she felt a presence behind her, a cold, oppressive force that seemed to press upon her very soul. In the quiet that followed, her heartbeat thundered in her ears like a death knell, a stark reminder that the curse was very real and it was coming for her. Determined to break free from the clutches of this malevolent force, Holly sought the counsel of an enigmatic local historian known only as Mr. Blackwood, whose eyes betrayed the weight of many untold stories. In the dim light of his cluttered study, surrounded by relics of a bygone era, he revealed that the curse was bound to a relic, a rusted locket said to contain the last vestiges of a heart filled with grief and hatred. According to Blackwood, the locket had been hidden in a crumbling chapel at the outskirts of the village, sealed away as a desperate measure to contain the evil that had once roamed free. To break the curse, he whispered, his voice trembling like a leaf in a gale, one must confront the darkness head-on, reclaim what was lost. Armed with this knowledge, Holly embarked on a perilous quest that would lead her into the very depths of the village's cursed history. The night was a tapestry of contradictions, one moment eerily still, the next alive with chaotic energy as if the land itself were in a fevered state of mourning. The wind howled with an ancient fury, carrying with it murmurs of long-forgotten incantations and the sorrow of a generation doomed to repeat its mistakes. Holly's footsteps echoed in the silence, a rhythmic counterpoint to the erratic beating of her heart, as she navigated a labyrinth of overgrown hedges and crumbling stone walls that bore the scars of centuries. Within the dilapidated chapel, beneath a stained-glass window fractured by time, Holly found the relic ensconced in a velvet-lined box that had long lost its luster. The locket, tarnished by age yet pulsing with a palpable, malevolent energy, seemed almost to breathe a living piece of cursed history that tethered the present to a tragic past. Its surface was inscribed with cryptic symbols, arcane sigils that hinted at dark rituals and a promise of retribution. With trembling hands, Holly clutched the relic, feeling its cold weight anchor her in the reality of her mission, even as the shadows around her swelled with newfound intensity. The entity that had dogged her every step surged forth as if summoned by her defiant act. A formless mass of despair and hatred coalesced before her, its form shifting and undulating in a dance as old as sin. In a moment of sheer terror and resolve, Holly confronted the spectre, her voice rising in a shaky chant that echoed the incantations she had painstakingly deciphered from the ancient diary. The air grew thick, and time itself seemed to stall as the curse fought back, spectral arms of darkness reaching out, trying to reclaim the relic and silence the hope it represented. The struggle was both physical and metaphysical, a battle of wills where the boundary between life and death, past and present, blurred into a cacophony of desperate sounds and silent screams. For what felt like an eternity, Holly wavered between the realms of the living and the dead, her soul laid bare before forces too vast and inexplicable for mortal minds to comprehend. The curse, with its centuries all venom, sought to engulf her completely, but within her burned a fragile yet fierce determination to reclaim her future. With each recited word of the incantation, each defiant glance into the abyss, she chipped away at the dark tapestry that had enshrouded the village. The entity recalled, as if in pain, its form shuddering and dissipating like mist in the morning light, yet it left behind a lingering echo, a promise that such evil, once unleashed, never truly dies. In the aftermath of that harrowing night, as the first tentative rays of dawn crept over the horizon, the village of Chale seemed to exhale a long-held breath of relief. The oppressive gloom that had clung to every stone and shadow began to lift, and whispers of hope replaced the murmurs of despair. Yet Holly knew that the victory was bittersweet. The curse, though weakened, had left its indelible mark on the hearts of the villagers and on her own soul. The locket, now inert and lifeless in her palm, was a relic of a dark chapter in history, a reminder that some evils, no matter how deeply buried, can never be wholly eradicated. Days turned into weeks, and the memory of that fateful night receded into a summer legend, recounted in hushed tones by those who still believed in the power of ancient curses. Holly, forever changed by her ordeal, remained on the Isle of Wight, determined to document the secrets of Chale and ensure that its tragic history would not be forgotten. In her writings, she wove together threads of terror and hope, a tapestry as intricate and unpredictable as the curse itself, one that would forever stand as a testament to the enduring battle between light and shadow. And sometimes, when the wind whips through the narrow lanes on a stormy night, villagers say you can still see a dark shape gliding silently along the walls, a reminder that even in victory, the past has a way of reaching out from the darkness, whispering that the struggle for redemption is eternal. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had or have a great day.